Hello and welcome to Financial Planner, the show where we take complex financial concepts and break them down into easy digestible bits. My name is Smriti Rao. With me, Certified Financial Planner Sumit Ved. We're going through a bunch of portfolios that we've received today. And we're just going to see if all of the viewers who've written in with their questions have their investments on track. If you'd like for us to review your portfolio and tell you what to do with your money, be sure to write into us at financialplanner@utvmoney.com. If you missed the show, you can always find us online at utvmoney.com or on Facebook. Financial Planners page is on my page actually, which is facebook.com/Smriti Rao. So welcome Sumit. Let's get started with Dhawal Joshi's email that's coming from Pune. Dhawal, thanks so much for writing in. Dhawal, in fact, is just 29. He writes in and he says he's married with a 2-month-old baby. He's also the only member in his family that consists of his wife, his baby. His parents also live with him. Plus, there's also a younger sister to look after. So it's a little joint family over here, very typical of Indian households. In fact, just 29. He's also the sole member earning any cash in that family. His income is 45,000 rupees. He saves 30,000, which is quite substantial, and has recurring deposits of 25,000 per month. He has insurance of 50,000, and he lists his financial goals. And in all of it, it's very important to mention that his sister's marriage at this point seems to be a priority. He wants to get his sister married in the next year or so, wants to know how he should be planning for that marriage, plus a bunch of other goals, which include making sure that his child's finances are secure and finances are put aside for education, plus the family insurance plan. So there's lots to look forward to in this particular portfolio. And Sumit, I want to get your view first. Do you think this is a fairly typical Indian scenario? You know, someone young, someone working, has a young family, and also has parents and a younger sister living together?
Thanks, Vidhi, for getting me on this show. This is a very typical Indian family, and one thing which I want to just add on the way you introduced right in the beginning, along with portfolio, I think these are interesting financial case studies.
True.
And all our viewers who are watching these should learn perspectives, because these are not a very unique cases. These are very typical of Indian families. So there's a lot of lessons which we share and learn from these kind of cases which we're going to discuss out here, and especially in case of Dhawal. So let's take first goal. Sister's marriage in next 12 to 15 months, rupees 3 lakh. As per this goal, it looks like Dhawal wants to contribute 3 lakh towards his sister's marriage. His father is also supposed to contribute 4 lakh rupees out of his savings of 5. So that means the total budget of the sister's marriage is 7. Dhawal's savings is 30,000 rupees a month. Now, this is very interesting that without even going to other goals, if this is what Dhawal wants to do, then practically it means for next 1 or 2 years, till the time sister gets married, Dhawal cannot do any of his other goals.
So basically his life is on hold till that event is passed, which is the sister's wedding happens.
Right.
And he saves up all his money to part finance that wedding.
That's right.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
There's nothing like good or bad in terms of financial planning. It's always relative, each to his own. What we need to really understand out here is power of goals. Power of goals. Now let's go back and go back in history for Dhawal's family, and go back to his parents when they were trying to plan their finances. If his dad would have planned 20 years ago sister's marriage, this situation would have been very different.
It's true.
And why it would have been different? See, two things. Dad's overall savings is only 5 lakhs, out of which he's spending 4 lakhs towards sister's marriage. Dangerous. That's a big no. Even at the cost of, you as a family deciding that we should not spend this kind of money for sister's marriage, it's as important as that. Because what will happen post sister's marriage, what really worries me, and I've seen in so many families, within my own family, I've seen this happening, that we become emotional when it comes to daughter's marriage or son's education. We go and dip into a retirement corpus and spend all the money in making sure they're getting married in the right way. Tell the son to go and take loan in his own name, so that we can get a society image.
It's true, and especially in Indian, again, this is a personal opinion. Within the Indian society, we do place a lot of importance on how big and how grand your wedding is. So even if that comes at the cost of dipping into your savings, a lot of families do that. But you're suggesting that maybe it's time for you to sort of play within the boundaries
right.
and sort of downscale
Yep.
what your expectations are
Yep.
of that wedding?
So two things come out very clearly. One, start early. Whatever your financial goals are, especially things like marriage, children, etc., start as early as possible. And this is a big message for Dhaval, because now he's thinking about planning. He's got a small kid. He needs to plan for them starting now. So that's message number one. Second is, if you don't have it, do not go and dip in your, whatever savings you have to try and get personal gratification right now. My big suggestion to them, or big advice, will be reduce the budget. And here a big assumption which we have is that Dhaval do not have any savings pool with him.
Okay.
We don't know, because he hasn't mentioned anywhere that he has any existing savings. Because with current data which we have, Dhaval for next 12 to 15 months will only save for his sister's marriage. His father's 80-90% of savings will go into sister's marriage. Then the suggestion is, instead of spending 7 lakhs, please make sure you don't spend more than 2-3 lakhs.
Okay.
What's the point of putting whole family into a tight spot financially just by making sure one marriage happens the way you have planned it out to be?
Also, what happens is that once, you get very excited, you want to have a grand wedding, obviously, because it's an emotional thing. You
Yep.
want to have a great wedding in the family. But once those 3 or 4 days of,
Yep.
festivities die down,
Yep.
you're back to not having any savings, back to sort of struggling. And,
So true.
it's clearly not a case of hand-to-mouth existence,
Yep.
but it could be fairly dire.
It should be.
Yeah, so you're saying, so Dhaval, looks like you'll have to sort of downgrade your expectations of how much you want to spend on your sister's wedding. Spend less would be the first thing. The second thing I want to ask you is that you had a great point over there. With Dhaval, you're seeing what's happening with your sister. You're sort of wanting to spend but don't have the money.
Yep.
Start saving for your kid's wedding.
right.
And also start saving for your kid's education.
That's
How
right.
should you look at that?
Actually, once the sister's marriage part is taken care of, and let's start with an assumption that Dhaval do not have to save for it. And it's a big assumption we are trying to do, because he's sitting on a savings of 30,000 rupees a month, which is pretty reasonable for this kind of a family size and kind of expectation they have. So we are assuming, and there's nothing else we can do but assume, that Dhaval has agreed to our suggestion of not saving that money for that much towards saving for sister's marriage. Then child's higher education, 15 years from now, I think very easily he can go and achieve that particular goal by articulating a right asset allocation mix in front of this. Since it's a 15-year goal, he should go into an aggressive asset allocation, which should have 80% into equity-oriented mutual fund and 20% into fixed income or debt-oriented mutual funds. We currently also see that, Dhaval is into recurring deposits of 25,000 rupees a month. Now, RD is a great savings habit, no doubt about it. You're doing it regular basis, but our suggestion will be to do much better asset allocation. Only recurring deposit of bank, I think you are not really doing optimal asset allocation, not using equity as a asset class over a longer period of time, and you're missing out on opportunity in generating a higher return.
So you think instead of just having that recurring deposit, maybe have part of the funds go into a systematic investment plan?
That's right. Systematic investment plans of mutual fund between fixed income and equity. Equity should have 80% because the goal is long term, and then rest 20% should go into systematic investment plan of fixed income side of the mutual fund.
Okay.
Because RD has a tax impact, and I'm sure Dhaval will be in minimum 20% tax bracket, the kind of income which he has. So post-tax returns of RD cannot compete with mutual funds long term, whether it's fixed income or equity itself. So I think that's something very important for him to do that. And out of that 30,000 rupees of saving, 10,000 is enough to be saved for this goal, because he's got 15 years with him.
Okay.
So compounding will really work wonders,
All right. I want to take up insurance next. He says that his wife doesn't have a cover. Now, in this scenario where there's one sole earner in the family, who should have insurance?
Actually, let's split this insurance, and again, it's not very much clear, but we split and try and assume that he's talking both about life cover and medical cover. Okay, and when we talk about life insurance, in life insurance there is a concept of insurable interest. What are you insuring for? So earning member is almost the right member who has to get insured. Getting your wife insured when she doesn't have any insurable interest in form of income coming in is not advisable, because you might not get right insurance amount for it, or you might not even get insurance, because insurance company should say, why should I insure her?
Right.
What will be the loss if she's not there, other than emotional loss to the family, or support loss to the family. So not advisable. Similarly, parents are retired, not advisable for them. So Dhaval needs to have a pure term cover insurance in his name, but adequate.
Okay.
Bundle and make sure you calculate human life value, keeping your dreams and goals in mind, not only your actual amount which you need to run your house.
Right. So that's a great point over there. So for a lot of joint families, traditional families, and these sort of mini nuclear families
Yep.
across India, so that's a point you should keep in mind, is that the person who's earning, the person whose loss will be sort of resulting in a big financial loss for your family are the ones that should be covered
That's
most,
true.
and also not some nominal amount for insurance,
Yep.
but just a largish amount for insurance.
Adequate amount.
Adequate amount for insurance
That's
over
right.
there.
Adequacy of insurance is very, very, very important.
Alright, so think about those two things, Dhaval. Also remember, for those of you whose queries are featured on the show, we will be writing back to you, so don't fret if you missed the show. And like we say, if you missed the show, you can always catch it online on the Facebook page or on utvmoney.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about Puneet Devadiga. He's just 23 and he wants to know how he can get started with investment. We'll have some ideas for him after this break.